Hey, everybody, and welcome to Claiming Your Hour Power with myself, Debbie G, and of course, the extraordinary David Strickle. And tonight we are going to be once again bringing the stream through. David, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
I know you're like, he's all floaty, floaty, high as a kite, like type of thing. Woo!
Well,
But
I
not
was
like
uh, I was
that.
live on your friend Derek's Truth Seeker today,
Oh, God, I love him.
and we went for 90 minutes, and the stream took all kinds of cool questions for 90 minutes. So yeah,
Mm.
I'm still swimming in that energy.
Oh, that's
Says
brilliant.
hello,
Woo,
by the way.
look at this audience. You guys are climbing. Share this out from wherever that you're watching, please, and start typing into the chat those pressing questions you just gotta know because we're going to ask the stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about cancel culture and the polarization of society. And I actually love this topic, and we're going to get into this with the stream. And I also want to know your input out there, audience, on cancel culture and how that you feel about that, and are you experiencing that in your reality? And post your questions. David, tell me about what came through today.
It was all kinds of interesting stuff. My recollection is not always solid, but I just remember being in the experience, thinking, "Oh, this is really cool. This energy is really cool. The questions are really interesting. A whole lot of new people that haven't interacted with the stream before, so a whole lot of extraterrestrial questions and questions about God and religion and Christ consciousness and all of that stuff. So we were really deep into that type of thought." So that was it was. I like that. I like it when the stream gets new things and new twists on things, and there just never seems to be an end to new thoughts and questions coming our way. So
You know what I think that is?
why?
Devastate the audience because it's limitless. It's
Well,
limitless. There is no ceiling. There's no ceiling. It's sort of like there's no ceiling on raising your vibration. And that's one of my favorite things that the stream talks about. And so wherever you sit right now in your vibration, like Leslie, hey girl, what's up in Australia? I love you. She
yeah.
is a boot camp graduate. She rocks. Now, Leslie,
She's a
wherever your
very
vibe
very
is,
recent boot camp graduate, like just a few
yeah.
weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, how does that feel to know out there that there's no ceiling to your vibration? And tonight you're going to get the opportunity to raise the vibration. So get those questions going and let's rock and roll. Hey, Don, what's up?
Yeah, and be sure and like Debbie said, share this out to wherever you feel appropriate to share it to, and hit like. That helps, and your comments are always welcome. So just comment away, keep the chat going during ask questions. We do have a topic tonight, but you can always go off topic. We know the stream likes to go off topic, so why should we go off topic as well? So the
Listen,
topic is cancel culture and the polarization of society, and that kind of all comes around to this crazy new energy that we're existing in right now. That seems crazy to us, but to the stream, it's like, this is great. You got this. So we can dive into all that as well.
I love it. Well, hey, David, so let me tell you a couple of things. One, all right, you all, I haven't had a new phone. I'm like the manifesting queen. All right. If you want to be like me, then you have to join Taya, period. So listen, I mean, seriously, Taya boot camp, Taya practice group, go join it. Look what I got. I got the brand new iPhone 13. Yeah.
Ah,
Haven't had a new phone since an eight. I haven't had one since an eight. Do you guys look at this?
I went from an
Look
8
at
to a 12, and then my 12 became obsolete real fast with your 13. So yeah, that's thank you,
Oh,
Apple.
look at those. Look at those.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, I'm so excited. I see the questions are coming. Come on. I
If
feel
you
it,
really
you
push
guys.
your
Come
abundance,
on.
you don't use a what do you call it? The thing that you put on it.
Yeah, well, there's supposed to be a better glass, not glass, ceramic of some
Yeah,
kind, as they said, but look, it's like gold.
that's
It's
pretty. I like
so
it. I like
awesome.
it. Mine's that
Thank you.
weird gray green color, but mine's old now, so I shouldn't even be showing it off. I see somebody on here, a new friend of ours, Selena Dorsey. Selena is the host, CEO. I don't know exactly what your title is of this thing that a lot of you have been involved in this week. the LOA World Summit, the Law of Attraction World Summit.
Oh, yeah.
That's her thing. That's Selena's thing. She
Excellent.
interviewed me, and I think that went up yesterday. The interview that Selena did with me, and it wasn't channeling, but it was me going on for about an hour about Taya and universal process of creation, and of course, all that relates to law of attraction. So it's good to see you on here, Selena, and I'm
Oh,
glad
I love it.
you're live. And all of you that are new to our group, the Taya Practice, thank you so much for joining. And if you're not in the Taya Practice group, I know we are broadcasting to a few different places. We are on Spirituality Gone Wild, Debbie's page. We're on the Stream of David page. We're on the Stream of David YouTube. So we're in all those places right now. But if you haven't joined the Taya Practice, join the Taya Practice Facebook group. Follow the page of Debbie's Spirituality Gone Wild, and I'm so like out of it still from channeling. And then
He's just,
if you're into the whole law of attraction thing, and I think you probably are if you're into all this.
yeah.
Check out Selena's thing too, because I know that there's like a whole bundle that you can still get. You can sign up for a premium bundle, I believe, and get a replay, and we might even have a link for you to be able to do that. But just find your way there is what's important. So
Well, can I just jump in on that? I just want to say, Selena, it's way cool because you have a few of my friends on there, and I'm loving that. Neo Positivity was on, and my fiance's been watching it, Joe, and I love that, and it's super exciting. So, David, I want to tell you about something really quick. You all need to put some questions into this chat because we're going to start this channeling just before you know it, and I'm just going to hog the stream all to
see
me.
the stream will just take the rest of the night off if nobody has questions. It's fine.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. So, okay, check this out. So the other day I'm watching uh Soul. I talked to Sandra, who's one of the Taya coaches, about this on our Tuesday show, and it was freaking fabulous because listen, it was all about your soul's purpose. It was all about your soul's purpose. And if anybody's watched the show, I'm about to blow it for you because and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's by Pixar. And let me tell you why. Because your soul's purpose is your passion. Everybody's sitting around going, what's my purpose? Your purpose is to live. Your purpose is to breathe. And it took him almost dying. It took me almost dying. Finding David, finding Taya, expanding my consciousness, to start living. And it's a choice too. And one of the things that I want to tell you tonight is that if you've got a question because you have been feeling lost, type it into the chat, please. I love it. You guys love the movie Soul. Yes, Selena. Oh my gosh, right? Tell me your biggest takeaway. I'd love to know. And again, you guys start typing into the chat because no matter where you're watching from, I'm going to see the questions that come through. I also challenge you. What is your purpose tonight? Would you like to talk to the stream about your purpose? Would you like to dig deep into what purpose means and how that you tap into it? We can get all into all of these, but I'd love to see some interaction from you guys. So let's rock and roll. I love that stuff. Stacy, head coach at Taya. Welcome in Hawaii. I don't know if she's back yet.
She's back from Hawaii as of yesterday. And we missed her. We're glad she had a nice vacation, but in the David Strickle media world, we missed having Stacy around for sure. So I do want to say hi to all of you. And again, if you're new to the group, welcome. And I see a lot of boot camp graduates on here. Leslie Jewin, one of our more recent Taya boot camp graduates. Donna Spiegel, another recent Taya boot camp graduate. Mona Kraus, a somewhat recent Taya boot camp graduate. Joe Zamora, coming up on probably a year Taya Bootcamp graduate. Joe had a fantastic experience with Taya Bootcamp. And I'm just so happy to see you all still around. And Carrie and Stacy are on from our team. So thank you. And Erica Mitchell, another Taya Bootcamp graduate. So good to see all of you on here. Lots and lots and lots of people. So let's just do it. Let's bring the stream in, and you can ask anything that you want. If it's about cancel culture and the polarization of society, that's great. It doesn't have to be about that. If this group may be looking like, we don't care about that stuff. Let's talk about soul.
Yeah, are you all over it? Yeah, let's get into
whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. We just do that to lure you into view, So
come on now.
So this is the point in the show where we get quiet for just a moment, and we meditate together, and we set an intention to bring the stream through. They have never disappointed us. They always show up, which is great. They always show up to a party, right? So
Always.
we're going to bring the stream in, and Debbie will take over as host. Well, I think you did that from the very beginning, and she will, because my energy is all over the place tonight, obviously. And she will ask questions. She'll ask your questions on your behalf. So start typing those questions in, and we'll have a fantastic interaction over this next 45, 50 minutes or so.
All right, everybody. So wherever you're at, as long as you're not driving, go ahead and close your eyes and let's take a deep belly breath.
We are here.
Oh, that was quick. Whew. I'm ready to get this on the show on. So the first thing we're going to dive into is your soul's purpose. And we see that one of our Facebook users here says, I feel like I know my purpose. Activating it is a struggle. So let's talk about that purpose and what it means and clarify.
You have essentially you have a dual purpose when you come into physical. You understand, and if you don't, we will clear this up for you right away, that you are all eternal strands of consciousness, and you express yourselves in physical environments, and all physical environments are polarized, meaning that all physical environments are going to send you through this never-ending journey of what you may call high and low vibration, this ebb and flow of your natural connection to our energy. You all have it. It is always present in you, but your humanity in this case serves to separate you from that on occasion, because your response to vibrational flow is the thing that is causing the separation. And that's a natural state of being, because that is the root of the universal process of creation. But your purpose in coming into physical ultimately is expansion of your consciousness, becoming a more sophisticated version of you. And you become a more sophisticated version of you. And we say you, we are speaking in terms of your eternal strand of consciousness, your soul, and your human journey, which is simply a mirror reflection of that. So you expand your being as a physical being, but while you're doing that, you are doing what you might consider the more important work of expanding your consciousness. And as a contributor to the collective consciousness of humanity and the collective consciousness of all that is, as an expression of source, you are contributing to the expansion of source, of all that is, of the entire universe. And that expansion is achieved in your coming to a physical environment and discerning your preferences. And certainly the word passion has been offered already. The discovering your passions, pursuing them, and allowing them, that is a major component of your purpose. But understand that another component of that is to be separated from it. Your obstacles, understanding that in a physical polarized environment, you are going to come and discern preferences, and you are going to have desires, that things that you want to experience, things that you want to pursue, things that you want to have and do and be and achieve, places you want to visit, things that you want to experience in the earthly environment. And understand that anything in the earth environment that you discern as a preference is an expression of that which we are. All of the things that you love, all of your passions, they are all expressions of source. And your obstacles serve to seemingly hold you away from those passions. But that's not really the purpose of that. The obstacles serve for you to create a more sophisticated version of that passion experience. Meaning, the things that you consider negative, your lower vibrational period is your negative attraction period. You are attracting unwanted things. You are attracting the unraveling of your desires. You're attracting the things that you fear. And in doing so, you are creating an opportunity for yourself to meet that obstacle in joy. And as soon as you meet it in joy, overcome it. And in the overcoming it, you are creating something new. You are creating evolution. You are creating more sophistication. You are creating a more experienced, more expanded, more sophisticated strand of consciousness in yourself. And in this universal process of creation, you are unraveling your bigger desires. Notice that your grander desires take longer to manifest. That is by design. These are the things that you think of often, that you really, really want. The big things, the things that are big because you've made them big. You've been told that they're big and you've bought into that belief system. But that's the perfection of all of this, because those big things that you see an ebb and flow in the creation of, every time your vibration goes down and those things begin to unravel, opportunities to create an even better version of emerge. Essentially, you are ferreting out the flaws. You are ferreting out the cracks. You are ferreting out the weaknesses if they exist. And you are noticing these things. And if you simply allow yourselves to move through that period in appreciation, notice that your vibration will go back up in your appreciation of it. And you will reemerge with source consciousness where all solutions reside. And then you will realize that you have created an even better version of that big thing. The only time you do not manifest that big thing, that big desire, is when you stop because of the process of creation. Because the process of creation is largely misunderstood across humanity. You have been told that if it's too difficult or if it's a pipe dream, that you just need to give up on it. You need to turn the other way and not dream so big and just settle into what you're told you're supposed to want. But you all understand that you have desires that are well beyond what you're told that you can achieve. You are coming to understand like never before across humanity that your limitations are all your own creation. Your obstacles are all your own creation. And the exciting news about that is that since all of your limitations and your obstacles are your own creation, you possess complete dominion over them, meaning you can change them. Even the things that you've already experienced. You can go back in time and look at those things that created a traumatic event in your life and reshape that to something that serves your expansion. And in doing so, eliminate all of the low vibrational triggers and thoughts and recollections of that event. And what you've just done in that practice is you've raised your vibration, your default vibration, your all day, everyday vibration. Your real point of attraction is now higher in that process.
Fabulous. And I think that Stacy had asked the question, how do you connect more to your soul? But I think you just covered that. You want to expand a little bit more?
Your soul is realized in your source connection. Your source connection is always there. You all have your own version of this in you. Whether you're ever intending to speak it the way that David speaks it and shares it or not is a different story. But this is in you. This all loving, all seeing, all knowing energy is your origin. It is there all the time. And you separate yourselves from it when you are feeling anything less than full love and appreciation of you. Notice again, we are not here to demonize your societal teachings because they served a purpose. But now you're sort of kicking off those training wheels where you no longer need these ideas, these limiting beliefs, these all of this social engineering that you have been subject to across humanity for a very long time in linear years. You are coming to the realization that the idea that you're supposed to be humble and you're supposed to place others above you and you're supposed to worship some external deity, all of those things kept you under control. But you are understanding that you do not need to be kept under control. You are freedom seeking beings. And the idea of loving yourselves more, it seems that is in opposition of much of what you've been taught. However, In your loving yourselves more, you are realizing your own soul connection, your own version of source. You are source on earth. You are. And the more you love yourselves, understand that that is the very best vibration. Therefore, it is the very best offering that you have for the collective consciousness of all that is. So much more than anything you could ever do in 3D. Your high connected, source realized, self loving state of being is the very best that you have to offer the world, the universe. We are not
How
here.
is this? How is everybody resonating with the messages that are happening right now? I'd like to say Joe Zamora says, wow, that I am living my life's purpose, expanding my consciousness, expansion of source. My limitations are my own creation, meaning I can change them.
Indeed.
Beautiful,
Indeed.
beautiful. So I want to go on to a little bit more on life's purpose and soul expansion is how to tap further into life's purpose and still be present and enjoy the moment of now.
Tapping further into it is essentially understanding that abundance is your natural state of being. Abundance is your natural state of being. Therefore, all of these thoughts around what you must do to quote unquote manifest, all of these things and all of this hammering and all of this trying is exactly what's holding you away from your desires. Understanding that loving yourselves more, systematically detuning fear and judgment from your mindset, which you are all capable of doing. Those of you that are working with David and the others in the Taya practice understand what the systematic detuning of fear and judgment in your subconscious mind, which you all possess the capacity to do, what that does to your lives. You refocus on every aspect of your world very differently in doing that. And in doing that, you become limitless. In doing that, you step into your true creative power. In doing that, you are not even needing to be so specific about what that is, what abundance looks like, what your passions look like. They emerge and unfold and continually evolve for you. The universe is naturally delivering that to you. You don't even have to think about it. The thing that you have to do if you want to pursue that idea is detune, unlearn the fear and the judgment and all of the limitation that you have been taught. You have all come to uncover these teachings because you are moving out of that period where that expanded humanity in a very 3D way. You are moving out of that period where you needed these rules to catch up to the level of technology where you've allowed yourselves to catch up to. And now you are, as we have stated recently, you're chasing the tail of the technology that created you. You are creating technology that is very much like you. You are creating virtual worlds that are very much like the world that you're existing in. Coming to understand that perhaps the world you're existing in is also virtual because you are technology. You are not nuts and bolts robots the way that humanity thinks of them, but you are absolutely technology. The usefulness of that idea for humanity, however, is understanding that as pieces of technology, you are in human physical vehicles that your soul projected into consciously to experience the earth environment. And a very important component in how you go about experiencing the earth environment is your human operating system, which essentially is your subconscious belief system. But understand that you created that belief system. You projected into a set of circumstances that was your vibrational choice from an eternal perspective, even if you were not ready to claim it. But you did. And accepting that whatever your point of entry was just that, a point of entry. And everything since then has been your own creation as your reaction to everything that you've manifested in your paths. So if that is your own creation, your human operating system, meaning your belief system, And if you think about it a little bit, you can really understand that your operating system, i.e., your belief system, was your own creation based on what you manifested in your path. And you're now coming to understand via our teachings and others that your created path was not something that was thrust upon you. It was something that was attracted by you. However, it was not attracted by you because you're paying some debt, some ancestral debt, or you are deserving of it in some way, or you are somehow cursed and not blessed, or any of those human ideas. You are simply in vibrational flow, meaning you are attracting a mix of positive and negative from the onset automatically. But as you come to reshape how you view negative and how you meet your obstacles, you will come to understand that all of your suffering is created in your judgment of your experiencing of obstacles, all of it. So, all of your suffering that you have experienced, you can completely reshape. And you can reshape your now experience, which holds the most value for you, because you are creating in your now. You are creating your past in your now. You are creating your future in your now. And most importantly, you are creating your experience in your now. In fact, the only experience that you have is the one that you are in, the experience of the moment that you are perceiving. Everything else is just consciousness, the recollection of or the dreaming about. It is just consciousness. You have complete control over all of that. But the path to having a more aligned future is certainly having a more appreciative now, a more appreciative present, and understanding that anything that you perceive as a preference, that is completely up to you. That is part of your human journey. So anything that you discern as your preference can be yours, will be yours if you simply allow it. And you don't have to be so specific about it. You don't have to work at that. You don't have to sit and try to think it into being every day. In fact, that is very often counterproductive, because when you sit every day and try to think things into being, you are inevitably going to visit those thoughts throughout different levels of vibrational flow. And as you all know, there are days that you are more aligned and more believing of your dreams, and there are days that you are frustrated by them, and everything in between. That is because you're operating in vibrational flow in a polarized environment. So, where we're guiding you to is to understand that every single manifestation that you desire can be a set it and forget it. Set that intention for that thing. Set the intention for the universe to blow you away with a magnificent journey. Learn to appreciate your vibrational flow. Learn to appreciate even your obstacles, and see your lives begin to transform. That's when you will discover your soul purpose, which is simply joy. Coming and experiencing and manifesting the conditions of joy on earth.
That was it right there. Drop the mic. Everybody, I hope you got that. That was just extraordinary. We have a great audience for all of you that have just joined us. Please type your questions into the chat. And what you're experiencing is the stream of David. This is David Strickle, and he is channeling the stream. So the next question comes from our Mona. Mona says, so I had a dream about my first boyfriend 2 nights ago. It was a weird dream that nothing bad. It was a weird dream, but nothing bad. So he called me randomly an hour ago out of the blue after having the dream. And her question is, did I manifest him calling, or did my intuition know something was wrong and picked up on his energy before he called?
The simple but frustrating answer to that is both, because everything is a manifestation. Everything that you experience, every next thought, every next emotion, every next moment, everything that is coming into your path, all of it is a manifestation. Everything is a manifestation. We understand that there are times that you want to manifest with greater intention, but everything that you are encountering is a manifestation. So the stirring of energy, there is not a one before the other. And in this question, this is a fantastic example of how humanity tends to think, because you're thinking in linear time. And it is like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The idea of the reconnection exists in the same space as the actual connection. So that the answer is both. There was unfinished business or unfinished energy, if you will, that was floating around in your subconscious mind, creating that connection. And that connection caused both of those manifestations, the dream and the actual contact. One and the same.
Beautiful. Again, let us know how the messages coming through are resonating, everybody. Thank you all for being here. This is beautiful.
And understand with that also that these things, humans tend to take these things as a sign from the universe. And understand that the universe is not projecting anything into your path without your invitation. You are a co-creator of all of it. So your subconscious mind and the mind of the other party had some unfinished business of some sort. It is up to you to allow the definition of that to emerge. But understand that it is not a benevolent force of universe that is forcing something upon you that you are in no way involved in. All of your manifestations, all of your creations are attracted. The universe is not judging your human experience. That is why you can very easily look across humanity and say that life is not fair. Your lives are not fair because you're not all on the same journey. The one thing that we will promise you, however, is that in your collective eternal states, you all appreciate the expansive experiences that you all have here, regardless of how you view them as humanity. You all view them the same. The fairness happens in the energetic realm because it's all expansive experiences. You are receiving your sophisticated expansion in your human journey, regardless of how it is lived out or how long it's lived out. You are receiving an experience, and that's why you come, is for the physical expression, for the physical experience. And yes, you are driven toward desires, and yes, you are overcoming obstacles, every single one of you, but not all the same. That's why there is no one size fits all journey in this lifetime. There is no template, though you have all been told there's a template, that you are all supposed to be a certain way or a slight variant of a certain way. Yet none of you are achieving that. Some more than others, certainly. But there is no one path. There is no one right way. There is no gospel that if you adhere to it, you're going to have the perfect experience while everyone else does not.
Wonderful. Joe Zamora says, for my subconscious mind, what is the best way to change it? I listen to videos as I fall asleep and do these work. How do I change my subconscious mind quicker?
We were going to state that Joe as an individual has changed his subconscious mind significantly. He already knows how. The getting antsy with it and wanting to for it to happen faster, understand that every manifestation can be instantaneous. However, that from a soul conscious perspective, you did not come here to manifest everything instantaneously. There are gifts in the twists and turns that you all create for yourselves. And those gifts usually are greater clarity through contrast. So your the length of time that you take to become more proficient with changing your energetic field, however long it takes, is as long as it takes, because that journey never truly ends. There's not a finish line that you're ever going to cross, because when you raise your default vibration and that becomes your new state of being, you are that new being. In fact, very often you have to do a little bit of work to remember what it was like just a few weeks before, perhaps, when you start doing this type of work. Understand that there is no place that you're going to reach where you're done. You can keep going higher and higher and higher and higher as individuals, and certainly as humanity. There is so much left to be experienced in your source connection, realizing a life lived as an expression of source. And not one of you is going to stay there 100% of the time, because you're all on a vibrational journey. There is no physical being that has ever done that. There's certainly the folklore of certain individuals doing that, but that was not the case. That is a selection of the very best memories of them being shared forward over a long period of time in linear years. But there was imperfection in every experience. The imperfection is perfection. It's why you're here. So don't get in such a rush, and don't dip into beating yourselves up when you're doing this work that you want to do it faster. Your alignment journey and your journey of systematically raising your vibration, if that is your preference, allow that to be a lifetime work, because it essentially will be. Because if you ever get bored with it, the first thing you're going to do is create a correction for yourselves. We have recently referred to that as a spin out, where everything falls apart. There's value in that as well. And you can all reach a place where you're even in deep appreciation, deep gratitude of the spin out.
That's beautiful. Okay, audience, please go ahead and get those questions rolling. In the meantime, I would like to tap into the cancel culture. What's been going on with that and this polarization of society?
What you are seeing, and we have spoken recently of the splintering of humanity. And what's going on is you have moved through enough experience as the collective consciousness of humanity, where you are understanding that all of your templates and all of your rules, and you're being told what you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be, you are no longer needing that. And you're all coming collectively, not all at the same pace, but collectively, humanity is coming to a realization that you do not need all of these institutions of control. That's why you're seeing them fracture. Your monarchy, your police, even your government, your religions, all of these institutions of control are coming under question. And you're seeing elements of them emerge in your questioning that were ignored in the past. And so now, in your collective questioning of these elements of control, you are believing in them less and less and less. Notice that just a few generations ago, there was so much reverence and respect for authority. And now that respect for authority is not automatic. It is not something that is just assumed anymore across humanity. And in doing so, because you're in a polarized environment, what you're seeing is a younger generation that is born up to speed with the time that they're born into. So the younger generations are automatically not trusting those institutions of control the way their prior generations did. So they are trusting much less than their parents, and certainly their grandparents and great grandparents. Every generation, again, is born up to speed with their time and evolves. But in that evolution of thought, there is still polarity introduced. So what you're seeing is a younger generation that is questioning all of these elements of control and seeking freedom more than ever, up to speed with their time. And notice that their contrast, their polarity, is not understanding the generations that came before that are not yet up to speed with them. So in anything that does not agree with their belief system, they believe, because they are so attuned to technology, that they simply can cancel you. And by canceling, we mean they are thinking more in terms of a virtual reality, because the cancellation happens in the media, in public opinion, across social media. These beings don't cease to be necessarily. In most cases, they do not. They're still living and breathing. They're still occupying space in your world. However, they're not heard from anymore because they have been canceled. And that cancellation is rooted in judgment and fear. The judgment of, you are not up to speed with my ideas. And though I am seeking for you to be up to speed with me, I am canceling you because you are not up to speed with me. And they are not seeing the contrast in that, because it is not of their time. but that contrast always serves a purpose. It's an introduction of a new term and a new state of being that wouldn't have existed several years ago, because that idea of canceling is about blocking someone out from the virtual world that you are operating in.
Wonderful. Anybody have any responses that they'd like to type in? Start typing them into the chat now. In the meantime, I'll go on to actually, Selena, I'm going to go ahead and take your question because it just popped through. Cheryl, I will get to you just in just a moment. So Selena says, what does the stream say about vaccines and COVID? And there's been much debate about the anti-vaxxers and the vaxxers.
Another component of what we just shared about cancel culture, something else that you're seeing in your society when we speak of the splintering of society, meaning the divide. There are many of you that are moving more and more and more into desiring being more aligned with your own natural source connection. And that is all about releasing judgment. And when you release judgment and you release fear, you find yourselves in a space where you no longer need to be right. You are understanding that abundance is your natural state of being, and you cannot get any choice wrong. There is no wrong choice in that super high vibrational state that you are all seeking out. But for others who are not on your same paths, notice that the polarity is becoming even more pronounced. They are moving more into that lower vibrational field of needing right and wrong, needing black and white, needing to pick a corner and stay in it, and needing for their corner to be the right corner and the other corner to be the wrong corner so that they feel more secure in their being. But there's no real security offered in that state. It is a low vibrational state where some beings are holding themselves there. We want to be very clear that we're not judging that activity. We do not judge anything that humanity does because there is value in all of it. Every being is having an expansive experience in your environment and in every environment, regardless of how they are choosing to believe, how they are choosing to operate. So what you may consider the very worst of you is having an expansive experience. The ones that you vehemently disagree with, they are having their expansive experience in their own way, and you are having yours. But you are understanding that joy is the path that you are wanting to take. If joy is not your goal, you would not be interacting with this message. You would not be in this conversation. You may not agree readily with every single thing that we're offering up, and we are completely fine with that. We always guide you to take our teachings, turn inward, and do your own experimentation with them. Always, 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 always prove it to yourselves. Don't just do something because we've guided you to do it. It is your preference. It is your choice. And there is no punishment. There is no negative. There is no animosity from us whatsoever about anything because there is no judgment from us about anything. But you are here interacting with us because you want to be joyful, abundant beings. We are guiding you to that. You are summoning our energy because that is your desire. So when you're asking questions about should you or shouldn't you, you can fill in the blank with any topic. And we are always going to say it is your preference. And if you are operating in a high vibrational state of being, of understanding your well being, you are not possibly going to get it wrong. There is no wrong preference on that topic or any topic. For many, it's simply the path of least resistance. And are you taking that path of least resistance in joy, knowing that you're okay no matter what? Or are you taking it in fear? Because there's an inkling of fear that if you don't do XYZ, you're going to have a negative result. Understand that that fear of the negative result is the very thing that is attracting the negative result. So whether to vaccine or not is your personal preference. Where we guide you to is to discern a preference for well-being and allow your own well-being to prevail. Make that your dominant vibration, and then simply discern a preference from there. Whatever unfolds for you naturally, what feels right, understanding that you can't possibly get that decision wrong. And you will see evidence of this across humanity. You will see some who choose to get the vaccine in joy and have no issues whatsoever around it. And you will see others that choose to get the vaccine in fear, or actually choose to get do not choose to get the vaccine, but get the vaccine because someone is telling them to, and have animosity around that and have that manifested experience. And you will see others who choose not to understand their own abundant nature and have exactly that experience. And others yet who choose not to, in fear, and have that result. The belief system is everything. Everything. That is why you can find anecdotal evidence on either side of any conversation. Any conversation. You're in a polarized environment. There's going to be positive and negative in everything. There are going to be people who get sick that get it. There are going to be people that get sick that do not. There are going to be people that are healthy no matter what. Always. Because it's all about the inner vibration. And you do not know the vibration of another. The only vibration that you have dominion over is your own.
Beautiful. And the very last question we'll take on the cancel culture, and then we'll move on to the other questions that are here, is what do we do about what do we do about those we want to cancel?
We would guide you to ask yourselves why you need to cancel anyone, and why you need to participate in any of that. Because the idea of canceling someone is always laced with judgment. It is always laced with judgment. You can discern your preference whether you are paying your attention to someone or not, certainly, associating with someone or not. But the idea of cancellation is not that your preference is not them. The idea of cancellation is your preference is not them and no one else's should be either. That is judgment. That is judgment. There are things going on in your environment that you are going to agree with, and there are things going on that you will never agree with. That's never going to change because you're in a polarized environment. Very often we get asked about, are you headed to the end of the world? And our very simple answer to that is no, you're in an expansive state. The only thing that could possibly cause the end of your world as you know it would be utopia. Again, opposite of what you may believe, because the fear mongering is all around you're going to destroy your planet by war, or you're going to destroy your planet by not by the environment or something of that nature. You're all going to destroy each other in some sort of a civil war. All of those things can have an impact on humanity, but understand that you would need to be vibrationally aligned with it to be impacted by it at all. And you can all start a new movement away from collective fear. You all hold the power to do that. All you need to do is believe and make that belief a constant. And if you all need to create a community around that, then do it. Understand that we are here interacting to inform all of you that humanity's operating system, the one that has been in place for quite some time across humanity, the one that is laced and rooted in fear and judgment, that is an old operating system that you have shed the need for. That you can develop your own new operating system that is detuned in fear and judgment. Understanding that anything that happens in your environment, when you take fear and judgment out of it, you do not have to be party to it, and you can stand in appreciation of those that choose to be. It is possible for you to move your thinking to that space, because that is our thinking, if you will. That is our consciousness, void of fear and judgment. And as physically manifested beings, you are not going to be completely void of that all the time because you're moving through this vibrational flow. But understand, you can operate your vibrational flow more violently, or you can move with the flow in harmony and operate your life that way. You can operate your lives in harmony with the universal process of creation, knowing your abundant nature. knowing that as you systematically detune fear and judgment, it's going to remove itself from your life experience. You are going to move, and many of you use the terminology moving from 3D to 5D. This is exactly what that is. It's not about solving every single problem across humanity and having everybody come together in some sort of a utopian environment. As we stated, if you ever found your path to all agreeing about everything all the time, that would be the end of your environment because it would no longer be beneficial to have it. But you're not in danger of that. Vibrational flow will guarantee the continued expansion of consciousness, and vibrational flow will guarantee the continued evolution and expansion of your environment. That does not mean that you can't do better. That does not mean that you can't take better care of your physical environment. That does not mean that you can't all be better to one another. But you're never going to arrive at this space in a polarized environment where every single one of you are on enough of the same journey to all agree about everything. There's one little rift will gain momentum and turn into a bigger rift every single time. That is your nature. But the important component of this message is that there is nothing going on in your earth environment that could possibly end that which you are. You are all eternal strands of consciousness. So there is nothing happening here that can end that. And that is what you really are, is this eternal strand of consciousness. And you are expressing yourself in physical eternally. There's no end. We sometimes hear some of you say that you come in and out of these lifetimes and you're on your last lifetime because you're so highly evolved. That is not the case. You are never going to be so highly evolved that you are through being physical. Because if you were ever through being physical, you would be through expanding as consciousness, and consciousness does not finish expanding.
Wow. Beautiful. And in fact, let's go ahead and look at what Cheryl has to say about children, about she has her grandchild and wants to really get these teachings. And what's the best way to do that to an 11-year-old, for an 11-year-old, or for a child? What do we do about that? How do we help them to understand?
Understand that our message, again, you will notice there is a running theme of being very opposite of what you are generally taught across humanity. This is not about indoctrination. Every being is here on their own paths. The very best that you all have to offer any being in your environment, including the children that you are around, is the very best version of you. The high vibrational, less fearing, less judging, more source connected, more loving, more confident, more abundant version of you. That inspiration does so much more. And in that space, understanding that yes, there are things that you are, when you are practicing something such as our teachings, you are naturally going to share that with others around you. And of course, the children around you are more open to new ideas because they are essentially learning how to be human beings. So they are more open naturally to new ideas, but notice that they are also going to forge their own paths very often, regardless of what they're being taught. That is why we are not guiding anyone toward attempted indoctrination of anyone toward these teachings, because the inspiration works so much better. And part of these teachings is allowing other beings to have their life experience. That's where we are guiding you to, is allow the other beings in your lives and across humanity to have their experience. Think of the power in that. Think of the power and the energy in your life that can be directed elsewhere when you are no longer needing others to behave in a certain way that is in alignment with your own expectations and beliefs. For many of you, that will free up significant energy to think about other things, because it's not very effective in the first place. And when you are in high appreciation of all other beings manifesting a journey without judgment and without fear, then you're allowing them to screw up. You're allowing them to go down a path that is not yours, or not one that you want for them. But it's not for you to decide, even your own children. And we understand that that is difficult word. Those are difficult words for many of you to hear. But how effective is it to forge a path on behalf of your children anyway? They are independent and becoming more independent generationally because once again, they are born up to speed with the time they project into, which is not the same time that you projected into by design. By design, you projected in at your time and we're up to speed with that. And notice as you age through your life experience, the world starts to speed up a little faster than you do evolutionary with evolution, and you will start to feel that the world is getting away from you because the world begins evolving faster than you do as you age by design. And the ones that are being born into now are born into a very different vibration than what you chose to project into. That is why you do not run your lives the same way that your parents did. And you certainly do not run your lives the same way that your grandparents did. And great grandparents, think about that. Go back every single generation that you go back just one generation at a time, how dramatically different these experiences were, how dramatically different these belief systems were. And we understand that some of you had grandparents that were ahead of their times. That certainly happens, but it's still not the same. And where it really fleshes out is with technology. You may have the coolest grandmother in the world that was very spiritual and very deep and very open-minded about things socially, still can't use the device in her purse.
So we're going to go into the very last question, and we're almost to the top of the hour. So this one comes from Janet, and Janet, it's good to see you too. Janet had a dream that she was at her mother's house with the dog, and they're both passed away. And she's just wondering, does this mean something? Is she getting a sign from beyond? And we also had another question about ghosts. So they're wanting to know about the existence of us after we transition.
As we have stated many times in this very interaction, you are all eternal strands of consciousness. And understand that you are not operating in a linear timeline beyond what you perceive as your physical now. So all of these other experiences that are infinite, and we understand that as a human being, the idea of something being infinite is almost impossible to truly comprehend. And that's okay. You're in your human experience. You are not meant to comprehend all of that. You came here on purpose to forget about all of that and have what we have playfully referred to as your little weekend trip here on planet Earth as a human being. And all of these other experiences are happening simultaneously because they exist in consciousness. So when you depart your physical vehicle, any of you, when we say you, we mean all of humanity or any being. When you depart your physical vehicle, your consciousness certainly transcends that state of being. Your consciousness was projected into it, and your human mind decoded part of that awareness, but overshadowed a lot of it as well, so that you could have your own unique human journey in polarity, in what you perceived as a linear timeline, so that you could experience contrast. Because if you came into humanity with all of the knowledge that you possess in your eternal state of being, you wouldn't have a contrasting experience. You would simply allow everything to unfold and not react negatively into your lower vibrational state of being, which would not provide the expansion that you're looking for. To circle back around to answer the actual question, however, the energy that was your mother and the energy that was the dog still is connected to you. It's part of you. So again, the universe is not projecting anything in that you are not aligned with. That is that recollection of your mother and the pet were very much you in your sleep state interacting with the energetic realm. And your mother and the pet and every being you've ever interacted with, every being that ever was, you have access to all of that in your dream state. Your dreams can be quite magical or even confusing or very simple. And all of that is you interacting with the energetic realm and your human mind decoding that in a way that you can comprehend it as a human being. So it's simply a sign that that energy is present with you, and you are perceiving it in your dream state. And if that brings you comfort, then allow that to be your manifestation of a comforting experience. And if it does not, take it as a sign of something that you need to explore in that energy.
Wonderful. So everybody, let us know how that resonated. We are coming to the top of the hour, so if there's anything left.
We will close with the notion of ghosts, and we have somewhat tapped into that, if you will, in this interaction. The energy of the beings that you have known in physical is eternal energy. So yes, it is around you. It is not something that you have to go to a physical place to visit or see. We understand that there is power that you give to certain physical places, but you do not have to do that. It is already attached to you. That being, as you knew them, is connected to you eternally, and you have access to them. And the very best path to accessing the energy of any loved one that has crossed over is your appreciation of them. Because understand that in their completed state of being, their non physical state of being, they are pure positive energy. They are the very best version of them, if you can imagine that. Any negative aspects of them, anything that you found displeasing or unsavory or bad memories, all of those things, or even grief. Again, the universe works in reverse of humanity very often. Your grieving of them, your missing of them often separates you from them, because your vibration is not attracting their energy in the vibration of they're not here. But in your deep appreciation of them, remembering the very best of them, being joyful about them, even in their departure from your physical experience, you are accessing them in that state. That is your path to them. That is why the grieving process should transform, if that is your desire, to the appreciation process. Not the missing what was, but the appreciation of what was experienced, and the gratitude and appreciation for what continues to be. And just remembering that experience is exactly what it was, an experience. Everything that you've encountered in your life, everything that you've manifested, and you've manifested all of it is simply a collection of experiences that you have in physical. All of it. And all of it can be appreciated. Every being that has come and gone, every possession that has come and gone, every health crisis, every positive thing that has come and gone, all of it, none of it was ever meant to be a forever thing in the physical environment, ever. And trying to hold on to something for as many years as you can, not understanding that everything is vibrational, and that things and people and circumstances and events are going to flow in and they're going to flow out. And when you can learn to stand in deep appreciation of all of it, then you're going to be a joyful being. Then you are going to operate in your more source connected state. And when you get there, your lives will be lives of joy, and your lives will absolutely be that of clarity. And your state of abundance will be a natural, ever expansive state of abundance from there. With much love, that is what we have.
Wow. Woo! Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So that was extraordinary. Everybody, while David is coming too, because we are already over the hour, what I'm going to let you know is you are more than welcome to come join us in our community. Join our Facebook group right here, the Taya Practice, and learn more about Taya Bootcamp by visiting thestreamofdavid.com. And if you have any further questions, write them down or send them to me, or send them to the Stream of David or Debbie at Spirituality Gone Wild, and or Debbie at thestreamofdavid.com. Debbie at
Hey,
thestreamofdavid.com.
you're on the team now. You've got a Stream of David email.
That's
You can use either
that's right. So you guys can hit me up, and we'll put the question in for next week's show. And we will be back again next Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. So it's extraordinary. Um, you guys are just seriously I'm just loving all this. And does that make us all sweat hogs?
Some of us are
Yes.
old enough to know what you're talking about, and Debbie and I both
We
are.
know,
So yeah.
I know, totally. So that was fabulous. And I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, it's been an absolutely extraordinary hour. You are a great audience. And if you are watching this on the replay, please share this out for us. And also continue to type your comments into the chat from wherever you're watching, because we will get them. And we look forward to seeing what that they might be and your questions. David.
Very good. So we're here every Thursday night, wherever you're watching us, I think, right? We are here every Thursday night at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yep.
Claim Your Power Hour with David and Debbie, and I channel the stream every week in here now. So if you want to come interact with us and hear more from the stream, this is a good place to do it. Also, check out the Stream of David podcast. Join us. If you're not in our Facebook group, join the Taya Practice Facebook group. We appreciate your interaction in there. And that is the community for everybody on the planet that wants to learn the Taya practice. It's a great place to get in and begin that journey.
Yep. Oh, and for all of you that are on TikTok, you can also find the Stream of David on TikTok too. Those are really good for little quick, just pick you uppers. Let me tell you
we're about
what.
to post a bunch of new ones too. We've been working on some. So,
all right, everybody. So have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Debbie.